12 months later, we are here and you are here for a reason. I'm 20 now, and just over a year ago, I was clocking into my warehouse job. At 5 a.m. wake ups, I was tired, I was lost, I was broke. I dropped out of university and didn't go down the traditional pathway of education because I was seeking more than just a traditional lifestyle. What I came to understand is if you want a different outcome, you need to be willing to do a different input in order to achieve that. This exact time last year, I made my first $10,000 a month online. And I want to share you the difference between making your first 10K a month to gradually increasing to 50, 60 to eventually 100K a month. For the past month, I've been traveling Europe with 4 of my homies. Most importantly though, I've been able to have the time and freedom to do what I want, when I want, and still make a good income at the same time. I wasn't tied down to a boss, I wasn't tied down to my hours, and I wasn't tied down to building someone else's life that they've always wanted. I'm not saying this to flex, I'm not saying this to show off. I'm saying this to show you can put anything you put your mind to. The real flex is literally knowing that I started with nothing. No experience, no knowledge. The only thing that I had was hunger to make a change. If I've learned anything in the past 12 months is that I'm going to take the person with more hunger, more drive than the person that is more skilled and has more experience. And the reason for that is because you can't teach hunger, you can't teach drive, you can't teach having a passion for something to want to make a change. What's going to happen on the days when you don't feel motivated, you don't feel like doing it, the hunger person, the person that has a 10 out of 10 drive to make something happen, is going to get it done regardless of how they feel, because they are freeing from the state of how they feel and focusing on the result. The person that is highly skilled, the person that has more experience, either lacks a discipline to show up on the days that they don't want to. You cannot teach the dying factor of needing to make a change. Let me take you back to the very beginning. When I was working long warehouse hours, stacking boxes, moving pallets, and barely having enough to eat every week. Every month felt like survival mode. I would scroll on Instagram, I'll see guys traveling, having freedom, building businesses, living free, and I couldn't help but wonder, why not me? What do they do that I don't? How did they go from being your average person to living that lifestyle to literally just having freedom to spend time with their family? How did they do that? This question haunted me, but it also ignited me. I got sick of watching. I got sick of wishing. So I made a decision to figure this out. A decision to never let my job define my worth. So I invested over $10,000 into mentors to go from zero experience, zero knowledge, and no genuine idea on how to make money online. I didn't believe it would work because every time I tried to make money, I failed. At 16, I tried ecom, I failed. At 18, I tried trading and I failed. So when I invested over $10,000 into mentors, I needed someone to guide me and speed track my success to get to where I want to be. The mindset shift wasn't about money. It was about the value. One day, on my way to work, I heard a quote that changed everything. You are paid in direct proportion to the problems you solve. That stuck with me because at the time, I wasn't solving real life problems. I was doing what anyone could do. So I picked a new goal. Become someone of value. Because becoming someone of value, you are being paid by how much value you can provide to the marketplace. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't need a permission to build a skill set. I need a hunger and drive and a reason to do this. After investing over $10,000 into mentors to help speed track my success, the hunger plus the skill set was the blueprint I needed to become successful. I didn't need a resume. I didn't need to wait 4 years for a degree that's not even guaranteed. All I needed was 2 high income skills and consistency. My mentors taught me, someone who knew nothing about high income skills. Everything that they taught me, I wrote down the notes. I wrote down exactly what I needed to know. But the most important part that I actually did was take action on those notes. You do not want to become the person who is complaining about the results for the work you have not done. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't even my first month or my second month, but I still showed up every single day. Even when I didn't feel like doing it. Every single day I showed up like my life depended on it because at the end of the day, it did. My first month, I made $0. My second month, I made $0. My third month, I made about $1,000 to $2,000 a month. By the 6th month, I was making my first $10,000 a month online. Sales became my ticket to freedom because sales isn't about convincing people. It's about serving people at a high level. And if you can learn to lead conversations, build trust, solve problems, you will never be broke again. I didn't wait to see results to start posting content. In fact, I was scared to post content. I was scared to put my face out there. The only thing I wanted to do was sales and be the person behind the camera and not the person in front of the camera. Something I came to realize is when you are building a personal brand with an offer to sell to people, with an offer to help serve people, people need to buy into you first before they buy into what you are actually trying to sell them. People don't buy from strangers, they buy from people who like, know, and trust you. I remember how it felt to be stuck, to feel invisible, to not know where to even start. So the one thing I started to do was starting to talk to the old version of me. That guy in a warehouse that just needed help, that just needed hope. People started to listen, people started to relate, and opportunities followed. Built a small audience, people who trusted me, and the audience became a leverage. I was able to gain a bunch of opportunities. I've been able to travel to Dubai. I've been able to jump on podcasts. I've been able to do a bunch of things because of a strong personal brand. Here's the truth. Attention is the new oil, and a personal brand is the new resume in today's generation. Once I had both the skill and attention, I didn't wait. I had an offer to help people achieve the life they wanted, from learning the right high-income skills and applying it to the marketplace, teaching people how to land high-ticket remote sales jobs, level up their mindset, and start building freedom online. When you start solving the same problem you had, you already solved it yourself. And that's all business really is. Solve a real problem, deliver a real result, and collect cash. Dozens of people inside ABC has completely changed their life. This is my guy Wayne, who lost over 20 kgs since joining ABC. This is not just about money, this is about completely changing your life. This is my guy Chong, who made this income fully remote, online, no content, no nothing, straight sales. Now hitting 10k a month was cool, but the difference between 10k a month and 50, 60, 100k months is when you're making 10k a month, it's a grind. You're working 14, 16 hour days. This is where you burn out, you stress, and you have more pressure than ever before. At that level, I was busy and not productive. Like I mentioned, when you start hitting 30, 50, gradually getting to 100k months, everything changes. It's about doing less, not more. I stopped doing everything. I started building systems, I delegated roles, and I hired help. I focused on 3 things. How can I be productive, not busy? What would a 100k a month version of me be doing? Less is more. Less is more is the biggest difference between 10k and 100k months. Why? Because 10k a month is grind mode, 100k a month is leadership mode. It's not about how much you do, it's about how much you actually move the needle forward every single day. Now, something that completely changed my perspective on life is knowing that your income will never exceed your own personal development. At the start of 2025, I was overweight. I was 100 kgs, I was low in confidence, and I had no energy to become a better version when it comes to myself. I hated looking in the mirror, but through personal development, through community, through discipline, I locked in. By July 2025, I've lost over 20 kgs. Stronger, sharper, healthier than I've ever been in my life. Because success isn't about money, it's about who you're becoming. But even bigger than the body transformation was my spiritual one. At the end of 2024, I started drawing closer to God. I started drawing closer to my faith. I started reading the word and I started praying consistently. Surrounding myself with people who love God and chase things not of the world, but things of God. By July 2025, God has put it in my heart to now lead faith sessions in my own community. And what I've learned is this. You can have the money, you can travel the world, you can have the freedom, but without God, it's empty. This life we live right now is temporary. Eternal life is forever. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, but store up your treasure in heaven. Matthew 6:19-20. I'm not building a business. I'm building a life that aligns with Christ. Now look, if you're still watching this, it's not by accident. You're probably where I was. Confused, frustrated, hungry for more. Let me be real with you. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. Because what you need to realize is starting is the perfect time. A lot of people wait for the perfect moment to start, but don't realize that starting is the perfect time. Pick a skill, commit to it. Document your journey, ask for help, invest into yourself. Over 12 months ago, I was broke, overweight, unsure of who I am. Now I'm leading, teaching, growing, and walking with a purpose with God. I'm not special. I just decided I was done with being average. So I'll leave this with you. What good is there to gain from the world but losing your soul? Don't chase success, chase passion, chase impact, and chase God. Let this video be your wake-up call, because if I can do it, so can you. Let's run it up. Like, subscribe if you want to see a crazy testimonial of Eliza, who went from working a warehouse shop to working fully remote in less than 10 weeks, just making $2,000 in a single week. Watch this video right here. Show some love in the comments if you want to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next one. Big love.